Gentlemen, start your engines.
This year, NASCAR celebrates their 75th anniversary. They did an incredible job in 1998 during their 50th anniversary season promoting their first 50 years. Given that this account posts tons of old school content, but also will occasionally blend the past and the present, we thought it would be more than fitting to share 5 things that we hope to see NASCAR do this year to help celebrate their 75th anniversary. The 1998 Winston Cup season kicked off with a ceremony honoring and naming its 50 greatest drivers of all time. This took place on the track before the Daytona 500, and we need to do this again this year. Take the 50 that were already named in 1998 and add 25 more to the list. It's as simple as that. Through the years, we have lost so many greats who were named on this list previously, and of course there will sadly be a handful that probably won't be around for the 100th anniversary 25 years from now. I personally feel like we don't have enough moments where we gather the best of the best together, so nothing would invoke more goosebumps than seeing the top 75 together in one place and taking a photo that would last forever. On Monday, NASCAR shared a picture of a handful of stars at the New York Stock Exchange posing with a basic-looking 75th anniversary car. It was just a black car with a handful of logos. Now, I've always had the idea in my head that a legend should pace the field before every single event in the 75th anniversary season, whether it be in their own car or simply just a pace car, but seeing this picture kind of changed my mind a little bit. With the way that cars are wrapped today, the 75th anniversary car should be wrapped in a scheme composed of hundreds of iconic moments from NASCAR's storied history. Then you can slap the 75 on the door and the anniversary logo on the hood. NASCAR should take the car to every single race throughout the season. They park it in the fan zone from the time everybody arrives up until a few hours before every race. Then you have a legend take it around the track, pacing the field before each race for a lap or two. Imagine going to see that car in the fan zone at the end of the season and you know that Richard Petty, Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Rick Mast, and 20 other drivers from the past have sat in that same car and took it around so many different tracks. Again, goosebumps. We all know that Darlington has carried the weight for our nostalgia for years since the inception of Throwback Weekend a handful of years ago. That weekend is a dream for anyone with even the littlest bit of nostalgia in their soul, with shades from all of our favorite eras coming together for an incredible weekend at the track. Teams normally do a great job at Darlington promoting the past, with teams often even bringing drivers from the past and incorporating them into their race day festivities, which is honestly how it should have always been done since the start. This year, we need to make Throwback Weekend the absolute best Throwback Weekend ever. There are so many ways to do this, but the one thing I truly think would be the coolest thing in the world to do is invite every living driver, team owner, and crew chief that has at least one Cup Series start to their name. You get a picture together on the track with every single driver ever, past and present. You do the same for the owners, and you do the same for the crew chiefs. Then you take one all together. These are all of the people that helped keep NASCAR alive and thriving through the years up until the present day in 2023. Can you imagine seeing hundreds of legends together for one incredible, once-in-a-lifetime photo? That's priceless. How do you finish this off? You have all of them give the command to start engines for the next generation of stars ready to try to tame Darlington. More on this idea in a little bit. That brings us to our next idea, which the previous idea can piggyback off of to help create an even more priceless atmosphere. We need even more driver appearances. Not just the current drivers, but those from the past too. At some point every single weekend during this season, there should be various autograph sessions in the fan zone or somewhere accessible to the general public. Maybe you have a joint session where it's Ryan and Dave Blaney. Maybe it's Jeff Gordon and Alex Bowman. Maybe it's someone that doesn't even have ties to each other like Eric Almirola and Ted Musgrave. The point is, you blend the past and the present and give the chance for fans to meet and give thanks to their heroes for all that they have done. These legends, especially those that have been retired for years, absolutely cherish being in the spotlight again and being able to recognize the giant impact that they made on so many people throughout the years. Jumping back to Throwback Weekend for a second, imagine this. Early Saturday morning, you get all of these legends together for the pictures mentioned earlier. You print them out and have them as a giveaway to all fans who walk through the gate later that day. After the Xfinity Series race, you have a giant autograph session in the fan zone where you can meet tons of your heroes and have them sign that picture, one that literally would be an incredibly cherished keepsake for any NASCAR fan. Back in the 90s, TBS ran a segment during their broadcast called Who Won? They would show a small highlight from a previous race at the track they were currently racing at and ask who won with a short multiple choice question of drivers before cutting to commercial. When they came back from the short break, they'd show another 10 or so second clip on the finish of the race and tell what happened. We need something like this in every single broadcast in 2023. It doesn't necessarily have to be trivia style, but every broadcast can surely give up 30 seconds every race for an old school highlight. Imagine that the Cup drivers are at Martinsville. You can show a quick 30-second highlight at some point on, say, maybe the 1994 race there. It is just little things like this that can make such an incredible difference in the broadcast and add a dimension of respect and honor for the past, all while teaching an infinite amount of people about some great things that happened along the way. I also think it would be cool to pepper in some legends in the booth for a few minutes every race. We don't necessarily need them in for the entire race, but imagine you're watching at Watkins Glen and Steve Park pops up in the booth for 15 minutes. The nostalgia from hearing these legends' voices during a race while being able to hear them tell stories will never be matched. We also have so much pre-race time that it would be cool if there was a segment every week on a driver in their career. It doesn't have to be long, but wouldn't you rather see a 3-minute segment on a driver like Lake Speed or Ricky Craven, maybe even Dave Marcus, than hearing generic filler analysis or seeing a scripted comedy skit? We need to teach our fans about the past, but also strike up the nostalgia in the ones that have been watching forever. Nothing makes me more passionate about the history of NASCAR. There are so many legends who created so many moments, both big and small, that helped the sport survive and allow us to be able to continue to watch NASCAR and enjoy it in 2023. If we want to truly celebrate NASCAR's 75th anniversary, we have to do just that. We don't need any hollow celebrations, and just mentioning that it's the 75th time and time again, that just won't cut it. Celebrate it. Sprinkle the memories and legends throughout the season. Blend the past, present, and future so not a race goes by where we aren't just watching the future, but also celebrating those who allowed us to have one.